Good morning and happy Tuesday from Mrs. Blinben and Cece. Say hi. Today we are going to do a few things. Make sure you have your red folder. Remember, this is week 2 and this will have all the information that you need for the week. I will do Stations of the Cross, read aloud from this book. And if you want to follow along in your book, that would be great. And then our Zoom class today is going to be a religion lesson. So you will need this and a pencil for the Zoom lesson. I hope things are going really well, and I miss you all. Hi, third graders. Welcome back to Recorded Math Time. Today you are going to need your ruler. You're going to need your math packet, and you're also going to need your math book. So what we're going to do today is we're going to review length from yesterday. So we're going to turn to page 167 in our workbook. If you have a ruler at your house that you would prefer to use instead of the paper one, you can go ahead and use that. So I'm going to use my orange one, but you can use your paper one. Okay, so just as a review, here is a ruler, and in the United States we use inches, which are the bigger units of measurement. As you can see on the other side here, they're really small units of measurement. Those are called centimeters, and we are going to talk about those, I believe, tomorrow. But here is a ruler, and we always try to line up whatever we're measuring with this line right here that says 0. Not the end of our ruler, but 0. And between 0 and 1, that is 1 inch. And then there is usually a mark halfway. That is our 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2. So 1 inch is about the width of 2 fingers, about approximately. 1 foot is 12 inches, which is your whole ruler here. And then if you had 3 rulers, one right after the next, that would be called a yard. And we can do our multiplication. 12 inches times 3 rulers is 36 inches. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to be practicing measuring again today. So you're going to use your ruler and you're going to measure each length. So remember, I'm lining up at the line, not the end. If you're using your paper ruler, the edge and the line are really close to each other. But on some plastic rulers, the 0 is not all the way at the edge. So I'm going to line it up, and this looks to the closest inch I see about 2. So I'm going to write 2, but not just 2. I need to label it, so I need to also write inches. 2 inches. Or when you measure, you can also use the abbreviation. So here I am measuring again, lining up with the edge where 0 is. This is about 3. But not just 3, I'm going to write 3 inches. I can also abbreviate with IN for inches. You choose. So you're going to write inch, IN, inches. Up to you. You're going to do the third one on your own. Then you're going to choose the best estimate. So what is the best guess? So what would be about 8 inches? So that goes from this thumb all the way to this thumb here. What do you think is about that size? Do I think a telephone? And we're not talking a cell phone, guys. We're talking a telephone that is a landline that might be in your house that you can hang up, or maybe Mrs. Blinben's telephone that rings in her classroom. So from 0 to 8, is that about the size of a telephone? Or is 0 to 8, is that the size of a desktop? So the table that you are working at, the desk that you work at school. Which one would make more sense? I am thinking a telephone is about 8 inches. It doesn't have to be exactly, but which one makes the most sense? Then about 1 yard, that's 3 of these. 3 full rulers. Is a baseball, which is about, I can hold it in my hand, is a baseball 3 rulers? I don't think so. What about a baseball bat? I think a baseball bat makes more sense. You're going to do the next 4 on your own. Okay, and now we're going to practice actually drawing lines that match these measurements. So this is 2.5 inches. So right next to it, I'm going to start my line where it says 0, and I need to do 2.5, a line that's 2.5 inches. So here's 1 inch, 2 inch, and then halfway between 2 and 3 is my 1/2 inch. So right about there, and I'm just going to draw a line. There is my line that is 2.5 inches. I'm going to do it again for 6.5 inches. You see how I'm kind of running out of room here, 6 here, and I'm not quite there. I can move it down and do it below if I need to. So I'll start at 0, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway between 6 and 7. And just use that ruler to draw your straight line. There you go. And you're going to do the next few on your own. Now the next one, you're not measuring anything, but you're thinking about measurement tools. So choose the most appropriate unit to measure each length. Write inch, foot, yard, or mile. Then give the measuring tool you might use. The length of a crayon. Would you use just 1 inch here to measure a crayon? Would you use a foot to measure a crayon, like a whole ruler? Would you use a yard, which is 3 rulers? Or, I don't think mile is on here, but a mile is over 2,000 feet or yards. So it's not that for sure. So for the length of a crayon, I would probably use inches if I'm going to measure it. It's not quite a foot, so I would use inches to measure. The height of a door. So you might need to look at a door in your house. Okay, here's your doorknob. If I were to measure all the way to the tippy top, from here to here, do I use an inch, a foot, a yard, or a mile? And then the distance from home to school, the width of your bedroom. So if your bedroom is a rectangle, width is the shorter side. If you were to go from one side to the other of the shorter side, how long is it? The thickness of a book and the length of a football field. Okay, then if you have time, we're going to flip to your packet. And here we go. It says home scavenger hunt, and it's in this packet here. And it looks like this, your home measurement scavenger hunt. So you are going to measure each item to the nearest 1/2 inch. Be sure to label your answer. So you're labeling it inches or feet or yards. You're going to go around your house and you're going to measure all these items. This is an if time activity, but it's also kind of fun to get up and get moving and explore your house a little bit so you're not just sitting at your desk doing your math all day. So your kitchen table, you're going to take this, or you're going to take your ruler and you're going to measure your kitchen table. Now, let me pull this up a little bit. Obviously, your kitchen table is bigger than one of these, and you probably don't have a yardstick lying around your house. If you have a tape measure, like mom or dad have one in the garage, that would be really helpful. But what you can do is you're going to take it and say, here's the edge of the table right here. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to put my finger where it ends. So this is 1 foot, and then I'm going to start it again for 2 feet, and then I'm going to keep going. Does that make sense? So wherever the edge is, if this is the edge, okay, put my finger, so 1 foot, 2 foot, if you're measuring something that is longer than a foot. Good luck, guys.
Good morning and welcome to Stations of the Cross. Hello to any 4th graders who are joining us today. 3rd graders, if you have your Stations of the Cross book, you are welcome to follow along as I read, or you can just find a prayerful spot in your house and get ready to pray with us. So you guys are familiar with this book, The Story of the Cross. So this is our Stations of the Cross book that has pictures and prayers. And then here is the prayer that we pray for each station. So I will say, we adore you, O Lord, and we bless you. Then we're going to kneel, and everyone will say, for by this holy cross, you have redeemed the world. So if you would like to join me on the all, that would be wonderful. Okay, here we go. The Story of the Cross. skip right to station 1. Station 1. Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. What had Jesus done? He had come with stories and wisdom. He had come with healing and forgiveness. He had come to make people friends with God. But not everyone welcomed the things he said and the things he did. There were whispers and lies. There was anger and spite. Jesus was condemned to death. Dear God, keep me from anger and spite. Help me to love and forgive. Help me to follow Jesus. Station 2. Jesus is made to carry the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus was condemned to a cruel death, to be nailed to a cross of wood. Soldiers loaded the cross onto his shoulders. Although he had done no wrong, he was ordered to carry his heavy load through the jeering crowd. Dear God, when I feel alone and troubles weigh me down like a heavy load, help me to know that I am walking with Jesus. Station 3. Jesus falls the first time under the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus walked along the narrow streets of Jerusalem, struggling with the heavy cross. The pavement was rough beneath his feet. The guard hurried him without pity. He lost his footing and fell. Dear God, I try to follow Jesus, but sometimes I fail in full. May I know in my heart that Jesus is always with me. Station 4. Jesus is met by his mother. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus' mother, Mary, was in Jerusalem, following her dear son as he walked to a death he did not deserve. The love of a mother is forever. Dear God, thank you for the great family of those who follow you, for they are family to us, and give us help and encouragement as we try to follow you. Station 5. Simon of Cyrene helps carry the cross. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus struggled once again with the cross. The guard grew impatient with his slowness. They saw a strongly built man coming in from the country, Simon of Cyrene. Here, you, carry the cross for the wretched prisoner, the soldiers commanded. So Simon did. Dear God, thank you for those whom we do not know who help us with their greater strength when we are in need. Station 6. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. Jesus could barely see the way ahead. His eyes were clouded with sweat. He tried to wipe it away, but only smeared it with the dust from his hands. Then a woman stepped forward and gently wiped his face with a cloth. Dear God, we thank you for those who see the little ways in which you give help and support.
You still have long hours ahead.
Station 7. Jesus falls the second time. We adore you, O Lord, and we bless you, for by this holy cross you have redeemed the world. The guard urged Jesus forward, for his sentence had to be carried out without delay. But who can walk calmly to the place where there will be pain and punishment? Once again, Jesus fell. Dear God, I try to follow Jesus, but sometimes I grow fearful and discouraged. Help me to trust that in your care, all things will work together for the good. Okay, everybody, that is half of the stations, just like we would do in the church. So when we come back next week, I will start off at station 8 and we will read all the way to 14. Thank you for praying the Stations of the Cross with me.
Hi everyone, welcome to reading. You're going to need your reading packet as well as your checklist packet. These are the two things that you need. One thing I want to note is we are flip-flopping Tuesday and Wednesday around. The story of the week is actually going to happen on Wednesday, and we're going to do that as a read aloud together. So flip-flop Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, we're going to do grammar and main idea and details. And then tomorrow we will do story of the week and comprehension together. So you need these two things. And we're going to talk about adverbs today. That is actually not something we have talked about yet, but something I want to point out. So we have a sentence, the dog is cute, or the cute dog runs. That's probably a better sentence here. So we have been looking at different parts of a sentence. So dog, we know that the dog is a noun. It is a person, place, or thing. You also know that any word that can describe my dog, that describes a noun, this guy right here, what is that called? We call that an adjective. Okay, we've talked about adjectives a lot. They are describing words, but they specifically describe a noun. So anytime you can say the dog and insert it to describe your dog, then that is an adjective. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about adverbs. So that is another type of describing word, but it does not describe a noun. Okay, we have something called an adverb. And an adverb specifically describes a verb. Okay, that's how we remember it. It's got the word verb in it. An adverb describes a verb, and it describes how an action happens, because we know a verb is an action word. And usually they end in ly. So where is my verb? Here is my verb. The dog runs. The cute dog runs. How does the cute dog run? The cute dog runs quickly. See how I end in ly? Quickly. How is the dog running? He is running quickly. Okay? The smart student studies quietly. Quietly, here's my adverb because I have this ly right there, and it's describing how the student studies. Here's studies. There is my verb. We've got your noun right here, the student. And what kind of a student do we have? We have a very smart student. Here's my adjective. So we have a lot of different pieces to this sentence right now. We don't just have a noun and a verb anymore. We have an adjective describing your noun, and you have an adverb describing how that noun is doing or going about the verb, okay? So let's practice. I'm gonna just try to keep this in the picture as much as I can. Okay, so adverbs tell how. So if I look at this sentence right here, they tied their laces tightly. It says write the adverb that tells about the underlined verb in each sentence. So the verb is already underlined. They tied their laces tightly. How did they tie them? They tied them tightly. So here's my adverb, and I'm going to write it on the line. One clue is I see an ly here. Adverbs that tell how end in ly. Lynn and Lamont moved cautiously at first. How did they move? They moved, here's my ly, they moved cautiously. Okay, so you're gonna do that for the next 6 of those. And then this one right here says adverbs that tell where and when. This one doesn't necessarily end in ly. So adverbs can tell how an action happens. We just did that. They can also tell where and when something happens. Adverbs can come before or after the verbs they describe. So the scientists flew there in an airplane. Where did they fly? There. Then they cleaned the airplane. When did they clean? Then. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier, but we're specifically looking for where and when. So write the adverb that tells about each underlined verb. Then write where or when to show how each adverb describes. It's too snowy to leave tonight. When are they leaving? They're leaving tonight. And does tonight tell where or when? So you are writing where or when on the line. I think tonight is a when describing. First, we will make a shelter. What are we going to do? What are we making? Or when are we making it? I'm sorry. When are we making it? First. Okay, continue on. If you have any questions, this one's a little bit more difficult. I understand that. But do your best. You're specifically looking for where and when words. That is your first job. If you have extra time here, I'm going to set the adverbs aside. There is a third page here you can do, but also we're working on main idea and details. So we're going to look in this packet and I see main idea and details right here. So it says, read the following paragraph. Determine the main idea and write it beside the cone. Identify the 3 most important details and write them beside the scoops of ice cream. So your main idea you're going to write down here. And then the details. So your main idea is you're going to read this whole thing, and it is about thunderstorms. And you are going to tell me, what is the most important thing about this story? What is it trying to tell us? What information is it trying to give? And then what details support that? So these 3 details, these scoops of ice cream, have to match the main idea. So try that one. And if you got the hang of it or would like extra practice, there's another one right here about a beehive. Okay, I'm going to put up a main idea and details page up here that you can use. Okay, so this is my main idea and details page, and it says the main idea is what the story is mostly about. So that first page where it says thunderstorms are dangerous, my guess is this particular page is about thunderstorms, but I'm not just going to write thunderstorms because that's only one word. I would like a sentence. Look how this says the main idea is plants have needs to live and grow. That's a whole sentence, guys. So when you're writing on this paper over here, you're not just going to write thunderstorms. My guess is it's going to have to do something with thunderstorms are dangerous, and this is all going to be about dangerous thunderstorms. That would be my guess, because usually main ideas happen in the beginning of the paragraph to tell you what the paragraph is about. But it could be something different. But you're going to want to put a sentence. Thunderstorms are, thunderstorms can be, thunderstorms. This is about thunderstorms that are, okay? So I want you to put a full sentence, and I don't want the sentence to be, this is about thunderstorms. I know that, but what specifically is it telling you about thunderstorms? Then the supporting details are information that support or tell more about the main idea. So if you write thunderstorms are dangerous, what are 3 details that describe how thunderstorms are dangerous? Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.